So the best sounding intervals in Western music and worship music are thirds, sixths, and tenths. Now let me show you what they are and how they work and why they work. So piano is an instrument that naturally lends itself to beauty by very nature of the sound. So while acoustic guitar communicates a sense of rawness, authenticity, piano often creates a sense of beauty, scale, and wonder. So when we use these particular intervals that I'm going to show you, they lend themselves very well to piano because they play into this sense of beauty that comes very naturally for the piano. So when we have a chord, we have a third, which is 1, 2, 3, that's 3 notes apart in a given scale. We could have a sixth and a tenth. And these 3 intervals are the best way to create good sounding chord voicings. They will sound good almost regardless of where you use them in a lot of cases. There are limits to this obviously, but they just naturally will have that sense of beauty that comes with it. So if I play consecutive thirds, for example, and I'm doing it kind of like a little bit stilted, but if we were trying to do it more in a worship style, And this is an example where I wouldn't recommend you do consecutive thirds all the time. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to show you each of these consecutively, and then I'm going to show you how you actually weave them together so that you're not overusing one or the other. So that's an example of, they sound pretty, but when you have consecutive thirds, you get kind of this classical sound that typically kind of comes with it. So when we have sixths, so if we have in the key of G, you notice how you could just go up forever and it's still going to sound beautiful. Sixths are really, really useful. So this pattern here is consecutive sixths, and you really can do a lot more consecutive sixths than thirds in a lot of cases. That type of thing. And then I talked about tenths already a little bit, but just to review, you can have this 1, 5, 10 or 1, 5, 3. And use that to move around a lot. So, and it's going to sound good. So when you combine all of this together, let me show you an example of how I might use all 3 of these to kind of weave them together, because when you play a consecutive, when you play an interval consecutively over and over and over again, it doesn't naturally oftentimes feel like it becomes a little predictable. The best piano and chord voicings come when we weave these together in and out of each other. So like sixth, third, so that's one example. In that, I switch between thirds to sixths, I flip up to a tenth, then I go back to a sixth, that type of thing. So mix and match your intervals, but prioritize thirds, sixths, and tenths.